Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a very exciting new supporter card from the upcoming set, Burning Shadows. It's Plumeria. Or Plumeria. Gonna be honest, have not checked the pronunciation yet. I'll probably flick between them in this video. Please tell me in the comments how annoying that is. I'm sorry, please don't leave me. Now this is an interesting supporter card. It says you discard 2 cards from your hand in order to play this card. And then you discard 1 energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, this basically has 2 parts to it, and we're going to take them in order. First of all, discarding energy from your opponent. Now this is kind of like Team Flare Grunt, but with one huge difference. You can discard energy from their bench Pokemon as well as their active. And to be honest, except for in a few very specific decks, if you want to discard energy from the active, you should be using Team Flare Grunt. And what's really good about this, and what makes it so good, is that you can discard an energy while KOing the active. So let's say you're playing against a Drampa deck. You've got the active and the one on the bench has a basic energy attached. Well, you can get rid of the basic energy using this while KOing the active and completely wiping your opponent of energy on the board. That means they cannot have a Drampa next turn with free energy attached, meaning that Berserk attack is not going to be coming out, which is nice. Think of it like a crushing hammer, but you don't have to flip a coin. And one combo I really like nicely here is Umbreon GX's GX attack. Umbreon allows you to just discard 2 energy cards attached to your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. So you add in a Plumeria here, and all of a sudden, you get to discard free energy from them in any way you like, using a combination of Dark Cool and this supporter, and getting rid of 3 of their energy. And you could even go a bit further by combining this with something like Crushing Hammer, and really run all of their energy off the board in one go. Once again, if you only want to hit the active, you should probably just use Team Flare Grunt. And if you don't want to discard the cards from your hand, or doing so is a little bit too painful, might I suggest you don't play this card. Speaking of which, the second element of this card, you need to discard 2 cards from your hand. Now sometimes this is really rough. Although it's in your control, we've all had Delinquent dropped on us when we're not ready, having to discard cards from our hand. And essentially, if you've got Plumeria at the wrong time, then either you're forcing yourself into a mini Delinquent, because it's 2 cards rather than 3, or you can't play the card but you want to play the card. Either is bad. But sometimes this is actually a really good thing. I'll give you a bunch of examples. We saw Metagross GX see a little bit of success, coming second at the Madison Regionals this past weekend. And Metagross GX has an ability that allows you to attach a Psychic or Metal energy from your discard pile to your active Pokemon. Well, you need energy in your discard in order to use this, so this supporter card could be very useful here. Similarly, Aqua Patch attaches a water energy from your discard to one of your water Pokemon on the bench, so this could help you to get the water energy in the discard. Vespiquen needs to get a whole bunch of Pokemon in the discard. Plumeria can help with that. And don't forget, we've got Darkrai GX coming out soon, and I did mention this in my Rabombi video earlier today. That's right, double upload. Make sure you watch them both and show me that double uploading is a thing I should do more often. And Darkrai GX's ability, if he's in the discard, you get to pop him onto your bench and attach a dark energy from your discard while you do so. So of course here you could discard both a Darkrai and a Dark Energy and then immediately recover them back to your bench. But of course you can also discard all of these cards using Professor Sycamore while drawing an extra 7 cards. Or using Ultra Ball while grabbing a Shaman to draw more cards. Or a Tapu Lele to go and grab yourself a supporter. And this really makes me worry that this isn't good enough as a discarding card. If you want to discard cards from your hand, I think we have better options. Really here, my thought process comes down to this. In cards like Vespiquen and Aqua Patch, generally you're playing quite aggressively. You want to run through a whole bunch of cards quickly to get set up quite early. In which case, Plumeria is going to help you discard the cards, but it's not going to help you draw more cards to set up, so it's not going to be a huge amount of use. Or you're going to be wanting to discard energy here, and you're going to be playing a card like Lapras, Sylveon, etc., and you're going to be wanting to discard energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon, slow them down enough so you can control the game. In which case, you might as well just use something like Team Flare Grunt, because you're not going to be wanting to discard cards from your hand. I worry that this is not good enough as a discarding cards card, and it's not good enough as a discarding energy card. And I don't think there are very many decks which are going to want to discard energy from your opponent while discarding cards from your hand. Generally, it's discarding cards from your hand to help you set up and you need more cards. So you want to play something like a Sycamore, or you just want to disrupt and you don't want to discard, and then the discard could be painful. That's my main issue with Plumeria here. I just don't think it's good enough at either of the things it does. But if you can find a deck that wants to discard cards from their hand and wants to discard energy, this will be amazing. It's going to see a huge amount of play, but I just worry it's not particularly good, and I think this puts it as a very standard free Wossie card. I think you should have a couple copies in your binder. I think it will see play. I just don't think it's amazing. Now, if you disagree with me, that's what the comment section is there for. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and make sure you're following me on Twitter at the Wossie. The most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.